Good afternoon. So we have with us Dr. Padmaja Lokireddy, who is a renowned hemato-oncologist from Apollo, Hyderabad. So good afternoon, ma'am, and thank you so much for joining us. So how has your experience been with CAR T cell?
So, CAR-T we've used in different conditions like lymphoma, BALL, and also multiple myeloma. It is certainly a great armamentarium, is another toolbox in our treatment arena. It is certainly changing the way our treatments are going. At the moment, a lot of patients are getting CAR when they're refractory to usual therapies, when there is no other option. But I'm sure as the time passes, it's going to move on to further lines, early parts, where you don't have that much of toxicity, where you had to go through transplant. So some of the patients who are currently having a transplant will be replaced by CAR-T, be it in a lymphoma or a myeloma. That's what I see the future is going to be. But at the moment, certainly it is giving a good choice for the patients. At some point of time, we were contacting multiple centers overseas to try and send these patients, and it's too expensive. It's not just the CAR, the rest of the supportive care was very expensive. If you look at the perspective of European CAR, which is about 400, 500,000, and if a patient travels across, if they could just afford 500,000 euros, but the rest of the supportive care is going to be another 500 because of
Definitely,
the not just the patient family had to
patient
go, they're
caregivers
living.
and
So it is just not practical for patients to go through, and some of them may fall apart while going through with a relapse disease. But this is bringing the treatment here is certainly making a huge difference, and the numbers will soon, we would have more experience, hands-on experience in treating these patients and making a right choice where to fit these therapies. So you've not have a patient who is burnt out financially and also in terms of toxicity. I think fine tuning that will come with a more and more experience of the local product. And our cost of the therapy in a global context is nearly 1/10 of the cost.
sure.
So that is phenomenal, given that we have got world-class facilities. And as India is a heterogeneous healthcare system, as you know, we've got a public sector, a semi-private, and a completely a private corporate sectors, where your level of healthcare is almost equivalent to anything globally available. And certainly, there's a lot of focus in a global trend of medical tourism. And this is going to improve the stand of India in the medical treatments and medical tourism, not just for our patients in India. It is going to certainly help a lot of other countries.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely, ma'am. So, and you have also worked in the UK for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
So now, how do you think previously it was, and now how India is reaching up to global standards, especially in research and bringing our very own car in India itself?
So one point I always felt which was deficient in India, yes, level of care, what we were able to afford there, what we are delivering there, exactly the same treatments you are giving. But one thing is about research was quite behind. And so if you're sitting in United Kingdom, the same protocol you would use, what you would use in India, but there are a lot of new products which are in the research, and the patients who can't have any other treatment, they have a refractory disease. You had all those options. You tell the patient, I have XYZ of a research molecule, and that has to come to India. And the level of care is the next level of care when you have got therapies at a research level for those difficult patients. It could be a minority to be available. I think that's what India needs, and this is a great time since 2023, 24. We are seeing a lots of new clinical trials, phase 1, new molecules coming to India. And it is certainly, I'm very optimistic, it's going to change the shape of how India is going to progress in terms of the clinical trials, and where we're going to set ourselves globally in terms of a medical care.
So,
It
ma'am,
is
and
going to
also this
change.
has been an indigenously developed car. So, what's your view on that, ma'am?
Um,
The
it,
cost they were able to bring it down from 2 to 3 crores to 30 lakhs. It was just because it was an indigenous developed car.
yeah.
So, what's your view on that?
So certainly it is very affordable. There is no doubt about it. And we've got early data. The efficacy is good. In India, when we are using CAR, we're using in a very bad patients. We're not using like how the Western trials are in the second line setting. Most of the patients are paying from their pocket commercially. So in those times, our patient group, when we are starting point, is a very bad at this stage. I'm sure as the time passes, the cost of therapy will come down and you will see a better results.
Definitely.
And but difficult to say whether it's efficacy wise, it's equivalent at this point in time. There is no head to head studies, but we have good evidence that it's working in many patients. And I'm sure the trial will look at the data and they'll tweak around and make things much better and better. The starting point, it's been developed here. And that's the first thing for you to step up for the next levels. Yeah,
definitely, ma'am. And what about the safety? Because when it's always a car, there is a concern for safety on the CRS or the icon. So, what has been your experience on the safety profile?
So it's much easier to do the CAR T. It's not a great problem at all. When a consultant is doing allogenic stem cell transplant, this is not a risky thing at all. It has been quite safe, easy. You just have to learn the tricks of where and what to do about the CRS and icons. It's not a big problem at all. We can all deal with it. I'm sure all the consultants, if they've done one, they're very comfortable in doing the next one.
I think this is starting that would really help them
Yes.
to go on further.
Yes.
But really, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
on this CAR T Summit. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.